Oh God.
Here, let me see if I can pull up this.
Yeah, go for it. Hi
But I'm
guys.
ready. Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up? How you doing?
Michelle,
Prem and Michelle, the squad, the gang. Yeah. So
I'm looking down because I'm looking up some info to be prepared for Reggie. All right, let's see.
All right.
Yeah.
So while you're dealing with that. So welcome guys. Welcome to the RegiCast.
Hello.
I'm your host Reginald. I'm like having another observer freak out. Like that must be a new tradition, just having an observer freak out every like.
That's okay. I do all my. Sorry.
Yeah, my roommate all of a sudden wants to move his stuff around. I'm like, okay, perfect timing, right?
Roommate, no, I was saying I do my weird like you're like, oh, my observer freak out, and I'm just like, I do my like SI demon stuff too, and I'm just like, yo, are my things? It's like, do I have my things? Like, do I have my cup of water and my like lip balm? And like, I do it every time. It's like a nervous thing.
Yeah.
I get over concerned with my sensory.
Yeah, I can relate, as you can imagine. So, guys, this is Melanie. Okay, Melody. How do I say her last name? DeBernardis.
DeBernardis.
A DeBernardis.
DeBernardis. It means, I mean, not the whole thing, but like, apparently it means like strong bear or something. I think it's like a Germanic. I mean, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to like totally not remember all the sensory details, but apparently the last name, the root of it is strong bear, which I relate to.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. So Melanie the Strong Bear, that's her new nickname. So Strong Bear here is super cool. So we're going to talk to her for about an hour. Okay. She's an alpha, as you can clearly see. Okay. She's like, off the SF.
I can never contain my play energy, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like at one point I thought I was consumed sleep because I feel so intensely, or I know so much about what I think, what my opinions are. But then I'm like, when I like look at myself or interact with others and they're like, whoa, I'm like, holy shit, the play energy.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see Melanie's play energy, I guess. I don't know if that's a thing, but let's go ahead and do that. Guys, first of all, Melanie, I think shouldn't we boost some of your stuff? Like you're an actress.
I am.
So what should we pay for? Tell us what you're in.
I feel like that's like or I mean you don't know, but I feel like it is every actor's like weird thing when you're like, when someone's like, where can I see you? And you're like, oh God.
I mean, I guess not. I'm sorry.
I mean, well, I feel like for me at least, it's hard, like it's awkward. It's because I'm I think it's just like my INTP stuff going on, like my demon feminine FE. Like I'm just like my friends are like, so what are you up to? And I'm like, I don't know. How about you? Like, it's a weird, I don't like promoting stuff. Like it's a weak point.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because I just got my SAG card recently, which is like a big deal, like a Screen Actors Guild membership. For a role. It was like my favorite role ever. It was this girl Blue in the play Beirut, which we made into a film, which was really cool. But yeah, so I'm excited about that. That's the thing.
That's good. Congrats.
I do have something else coming out, but I feel like there's a lot of like, I don't like talking about stuff until I like see the reality, the sensory. So yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, she has a YouTube channel. That's not a secret. I'm sorry. Go check out her YouTube channel, the Daisy INTP.
Just call me Daisy.
Huh?
Just call me Daisy.
Daisy. All right. So like and subscribe that. Leave some nice comments, and then there you go. So we're just gonna vibe out. I'm trying to do FI this week, so I'm just trying to FI it. I don't know how to do that. So,
for you to FI, would I just be like asking you about like what's going on with you? So I would like interview you.
No, I don't think that's how that works. I think FI just does whatever the fuck it wants to do.
Oh shit!
I think that's how that works.
All right.
Yeah.
I have trouble with FI. I think because I thought I was FI at one point too. when I originally started my channel, it was the Daisy INFP, just because I like feel so passionately about everything. And then like, it turns out I don't know much about what it is. So
we can talk about it. So let's do this. Let's do this. Let me at least organize a little bit, Melody, please. So, guys, we're gonna start with our first impressions as is tradition.
Oh shoot.
Okay. Then we're gonna hit the WandaVision again. I'm not even sorry. WandaVision, I need to process that.
Love it.
Episode 8, I want your hot take. And then we're gonna get into you as a human, the OP, and then we can talk about FI at that point, okay?
Cool.
All right. Oh, and then also, guys, so everyone watching, really appreciate you guys joining. Feel free to ask your questions, and then around the 50 to 55 minute mark, we'll kind of switch to a Q&A if you have questions. If you don't, then we'll just wrap up. It's okay. So let's start with the first impressions, okay? What was your first impression of me? I feel like my reputation is stabilized subjectively. So, let's see.
Okay. Well, like when I first, like very, very NT first down to last, to like the very beginning, like I feel like I saw your picture in the Facebook group and like you look very like you're in like a suit or something. No, like your picture on Facebook in the Facebook group. So I was like, wow, he's so fancy. And because I saw you posting a lot. And then like you would post a lot, and I guess like it sort of became like, I suppose it's like a little negative of like, why is this guy so concerned with like what everybody else is doing? Like it seemed like you were very concerned with others, which makes sense because you're TE, so tribe above self. But yeah, so I guess it was I guess it's not like, that's not like the nicest thing to say, but I was like, why does he like care so much about what others are doing? I think is a way to put it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm working on it. I'm trying not to give a fuck. It's hard.
But I mean, if it seems like TE, like it makes sense. I guess I just like, I'm also like always checking for the tribe too, like in like the demon state, like the demon FE. So, but like for some reason, but like I guess because of TI, like I'm still gonna do my shit anyway. Like, but like I was like, oh, you're so like, why do you care what this person is doing? And I was like puzzling over that. So yeah. That's my first impression.
What was my first impression of you?
I feel like I always have a fry when I do these. Pardon me, Reg. No, like a vocal fry.
Okay. I think my first impression of you is honestly just you just had a good vibe. I think I think the first time I actually watched like you in a conversation was with Dave, actually. Dave of all people.
Nice.
On channel.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and you seem pretty engaging. Like I think I left a comment or whatever, and you were like immediately like, "Oh, hey, I love your shades" or whatever. I was like, "Okay, cool." Yeah. And I was like, "Okay, she seems." Yeah. Sorry.
No, I very quickly like interact with my environment too. Like everybody's avatar, I'm like, oh, pretty. Like you had the like that like meme Thug Life shades, and I was like, yes, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that was the vibe. I think it was legitimately like she's super just energy, like just warm energy, if that sounds weird, but like that's the energy. I'm like, okay, she seems like approachable.
I think that's accurate. Thanks. I mean, that's self-reporting.
Yeah. But I think that's how I felt. So and then I think from there, like talking with you, you seem like your play seems very expansive. Let's put it that way. Your any seems very expansive to me. It's like you don't give a fuck. You're like, oh, if I think of this one random thing, that's what I'm bringing up. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's cool. Is that good? Like, that's cool.
I think it's my masculine SI sometimes gets like I'm like trying to pull things back. Like, so even in a demon state, it's like I want the sensory on one track.
Right.
That's I've noticed with myself. That's why I look like I have a stick up my ass half the time. So yeah, I know it has some downsides, but like I know that's how I'm like, and so it's like with people with masculine any specifically, it's like they just don't care. It's interesting. I wish I were more like that at times, but then sometimes I'm like, it's a push and pull. I don't know how to word it.
It's because like with the NE, like I feel like with my masculine NE like takes over my life. Like it's just everywhere. Like it's like this like being okay with it's just full disrespect of sensory. Like it's being okay with like none of this could be real. None of us have anything figured out. Like we don't know the truth of like what the fuck, like what are we doing here? Like are we real? Like so that's my state like 24/7. Like you know what I mean?
You're just in an existential crisis 24/7.
Like you're saying you're calling it that, but I find it's just like it's like joyful for me. I'm like, well, we don't know until we know, and like it's great. It could be anything type of thing. Like that's my masculinity. It's just like, no, that's what it is. Like you can't tell me anything because you don't fucking know. Like not you, but like no one actually knows. So
yeah,
in a way that's like freeing for me. And that's my masculinity, but I need to lay off the NE like because it's like all like I need to get shit done. I need to go to work, you know? So yeah.
Yeah.
It's out there.
Well, we'll find out more about it. But first, we're talking about WandaVision. I don't even give a fuck, guys.
Yes. Checklist.
It's the priority. It's the priority. Did you see all of it?
I did. I fucking loved it. I feel like for any saviors, it was good.
Yeah, why do you say that? Why any saviors?
I was so delighted with it because it was so much like what I was just saying there about like, yo, are we real? Like as Prem is saying here in the chat, like it was the first one to like take an abstract concept, I guess, and just fucking run wild with it. I hadn't seen anything like that before. Just like yeah, she just like each episode is like a different decade of like a sitcom, and she's just that's what it was. It was just such an abstract way of doing it, and they just like did it hard, and that was great. Like I just was so excited by that. I like abstract stuff too, so to see it like in such a big major way was awesome.
Yeah, so it's funny. Like I have not even watched the whole series. I watched one episode.
Do you like it?
I'm that type of guy. Yeah, like I watched episode 8.
Oh, you watched the last?
No, watch episode 8 is when I don't want to spoil it, but like they go back to the past.
With with what's her name? With
Catherine
Hahn. Okay. Yeah.
So, and that's actually an interesting contrast between like your masculinity and my masculine SI. When I watch things, I want the specific sensory. Like I know exactly what I need. So it's like if I'm consuming something, I'm like, yeah, like I will watch, and I think this is part of the tribe, like the Savior TE in me. It's like I will just gauge people's reactions on the internet of like, because I could see when they're spiking about an episode, right?
Yeah.
You know, like word of mouth. And then I'm like, I'll hear like, oh wait, this one episode or this one season seems really good. And so I'll just lock in on that. So it's like out of the whole series, I'm sure the series is great. I went straight for episode 8 because I was like, yeah, this is what I need to see.
How did you know to look for that one?
It's hard to articulate. So like how I consume is it's like I will watch like random YouTube clips and I'll read like random articles on my feed.
Okay.
And like people will be giving their reactions, and just some reactions are stronger than others. Right?
That's
such
a TE thing. Like that's anywhere TE. That's so cool.
Yeah. It's like, so I'll get the tribe reaction to be like so for example, episode 7 and 8 were the ones that got the highest spikes. And then I looked at, I was like, episode 7, whatever, it's a plot twist, but I already know the plot because I spoil everything. So it's like, okay, let me look at episode 8. And then once I start looking into the plot and what they were talking about, I was like, oh, this sounds like demon sleep, which is what I want to know about.
Yeah.
So I went straight for it.
Like sleep processing, how it's like attached to demon sleep. And I'm like, Now I would have to be like shutting down to process what you said about like how that applies. But I would like, that's probably right there. It's pretty cool. Like how you just compared it to that.
Wait, how did you not know? Wait, so you didn't make that comparison?
No, because, well, you're talking about like an angle of it of, I guess like it's my TI that's trying to like follow you, because mine is so different that I will like, it's like you're coming from an angle that like I had already dug myself in a tunnel of like, yes, WandaVision, and it's like an intuitive like understanding of, I don't even know what it is, but like I dug myself in this like tunnel of like, yes, love it. This is connected to my identity, WandaVision, and like Elizabeth Olsen being is it, everyone knows she's a Scarlet Witch. And like all that, I thought that was a spoiler, but like that's the prequel thing. Yes. Or like the pre, yeah. You already know that. So for you to like just say that, like, did I like compare to sleep? Well, like for Sleep Last, it's hard for me to go back to my known information, definitely, and be like, well, this is this. Like, so yeah, it's like, wow. Oh wait, hang on. I gotta like back myself out of this tunnel that I built to be like, did I make that? I mean, I didn't make that comparison, but I could see how you are making that comparison. So it's the TI, like, it's just like way down a tunnel of like a different train of thought. So
yeah, so,
you saying that, I'm like, oh.
So I think this is a good entry point to your type, right? Because I'm curious. I'm curious. It's like when you say this TI tunnel, like, what do you mean? Like, what is that?
So it's like a train of thought. I'm like the most recent thing that I've done with this, like, it's like it's consume energy, an obsessive train of thought. And like, well, with the film world, like, I'm going to be an actress. So how do I deconstruct this entire world of this film acting world? So there's that, but then there's just like the most recent, I've been looking up fucking toilets, like portable toilets that you can put in like your van for like van life. Not because I'm like gonna like live in a van or like an RV or something, but like I'm obsessed with how like people can live that alternative lifestyle. So like I spent like hours just like looking up freaking porta potties, or like, what's the other one? Yo, Tribe, like chat, like, what's the thing a different kind of toilet that's not a regular toilet? Like, does anybody else care about this? Like, composting toilet. Like, like I just like will like, it's like what the fuck am I looking this up for? Like, I just need to know about all the different toilets that you can use if you were to do this life. Because I like NE was like, oh, I could picture myself in this, like, in this situation, and like, which toilet would I pick? Like, I don't know. You were like, it's like obsessive, I suppose, but like, for me, TINE, I like cast any possibility of a life I could have, or someone could have, or like different lives people could have, but also thrive. And then like populate all the different ways you could do it and like research it. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
So this, your NE is just different than mine. Like your NE sounds like MBTI NE.
It sounds like what?
It sounds like MBTI NE. It's like, this is the NE that people like think about, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I have all these, like, my mind is not like that.
Yeah.
It's
fascinating.
Yeah.
It is. It's like, so like another example is like, well, I don't know if it's probably with TI, but like my NE, like I could come up with 50 different lives that you and I, like ways we knew each other that aren't real, like instantly. Based on today you're wearing a blue hoodie. So like we went to a football game together. I was a cheerleader and you were I don't know, like we went on a date there or something, like making up just different ways life could have turned out. Do you know what I'm saying? That's my NE.
Yeah.
So it is like TI way of explaining it, of just like possibility, but like it's like constantly based on a movement you make, like 37,000 other like you reminded me of like someone I went to school with who like, remember that time that he like looked at me this way? Not really, but like just make it's happening it's happening in real time. But my NE is just spinning, like creating all the different ways.
Is your NE like on all the time? This sounds like intense.
My masculine NE like is like, you know how they're just like when people are just like your saviors are crack. Like my masculine NE is everything. Like it's just always everywhere. But like that's why I chose to be a performer, and like I write so many sketches. Like I have short pieces that I write that helps to relieve some of it because it's fucking nuts. Like
yeah.
But I love it at the same time. It's like euphoric. Like I was saying before, I'm like, none of this is real. It's mostly just it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. So I like will write sketch it like really abstract things, and this ties to WandaVision. Like the abstract way they did it is like fuck yes. Like if you do end up watching it, you're saying your NE is different. So it's cool how your NE like your NETE took what the tribe was, the reactions. I watched those. I will like look those up after too, but it's more like about like, oh, that's interesting. They said that. But it's so cool how like that's what you're looking for first, just like the reactions, and then like based on that, that's what you'll watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, the fact that each episode is a different, I feel like I'm like ruining this for people. Is this spoiler?
No, this is part of the marketing.
Yeah, like that each episode is like a different decade. Like they're just like going hard with the abstract concept because obviously that's not fucking real. Like,
right.
Like all in her mind and all that, you know, it's like fucking joyful to see that because I'm like, that's my brain too. Please help me.
Oh my gosh. So okay, so wow. We're very different.
I know, we are so different. I guess that was another like I guess it's connected to the first impression too. It's just like Reggie is not gonna fucking know what to do with me. That's that meme that I posted in the like YouTube video or whatever.
Yeah.
In Grimes. I'm a huge Grimes. But like I was watching that and like that's the thing. Like my NE just was like, this is me and Reggie. Holy shit. So I had to post it immediately. Cause like she's like giggling and she's like, yo, like I'm in outer space, dude. And you're just like, I don't know what to do with you. What the fuck are you?
It's funny. So it's like, so I'll just share my experience. It's not like I'm like, I enjoy it. It's pleasant to me, but it's like, I won't lean into my NE the way you will. Right. So it's like, cause mine's feminine NE. So it's like, as you're talking, it's like, I could like, if I force myself to, I could do all what you're doing, but I'm just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I'm just like here. I'm like, okay, I'm listening to you. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. But it's like my NE is so, it's not like it has no substance. So it's like it's more like I will listen and I will passively observe the patterns, as opposed to like lean into it the way you're leaning into it. I don't know if that makes any sense. But
it totally makes sense. It's like, and then like the masculine NE part of my brain is listening to you and can see like your feminine NE, like kind of like enveloping this situation and like, yeah, okay, I can roll with that. I can roll with that. Like just my masculine NE is just like forcing me to deal with it. You know what I mean? It's But like, I can like from how you just described, I can like see your feminine NE. So it's super cool. I think that's very cool that we're all so different and like part of like a big, I don't know, I'm really sounding like that Grimes like thing that I posted right now, just like, like what is life? But let me tone it down.
Oh my god. Okay, so let's do a little transition here, right? So I'm curious, so let's actually continue on with your type first. Let's just kind of clean that up and then we'll talk about some other stuff. So let's just do the compare and contrast like of our types, right? So it's like, what's the difference between you and I? So it's like we have the masculine, feminine NE, right? The notes you have here is the masculine FI versus the masculine TI.
Yes.
Right. And so the note I had here was, it's like I burn people down when I'm in masculine FI mode. Like I want to scorch the earth. You should not exist.
you were talking about that, like when we were chatting the other day, and that's super fascinating because, like I can relate, but it's almost like the opposite. Like it's like coldness, like the TI. It's very impartial, like. Whereas like you're burned down because you're just like, oh, you fucked with the wrong guy. Sorry. Like it's like you're burning with rage. For me, it's just like, oh, I will ice you out. Just like, what's the fucking Mortal Kombat guy? Sub-Zero, like impartial, just like done with you. Yeah. So it's very interesting that yours is literally like, it's also like, it's so my masculine Annie says it's beautiful. Like, it's just like yours is like a burn. Mine is like an icing out. I think that's so fucking cool. Like,
it's so, I have a friend, actually Gray, actually, she had an analogy that's very similar to that, where she said like the relationship, so masculine, sorry, not masculine, but like FI and TE is like, you have a warm fire, like in a cold world. So it's like you have like a warm fire you're protecting for yourself, and the rest of the world is cold, right?
I like that.
Whereas with FE and TI, it's like I mean, both worlds are cold, I guess, but it's like the external world is like FE is bringing torches to other people to help them guide the way, like, or warm them, but then TI is like building an ice palace. It lives in an intricate ice palace.
Yes.
Right. So it's like as you get closer to someone with FI, the more you're burning, right? Versus as you get close to someone with TI, the colder it becomes, interestingly.
Yeah. But like, I mean, it doesn't have to be. It's just like when it gets to that point of like, if I have to, oh my God, my vocal fry. If I have to ice you out, like I won't always like, I can hang, I can FE, like I can be warm as you said.
Like,
and I'm definitely, it's weird because I think it's because I have the double activated FE. I'm aware of the fucking vibe constantly, and I like to be warm, but if it comes to that point, like I'm just like, oh, okay, like you're done, and it's like literally like the Sub-Zero like ice spear, just like done. Yeah. So I don't like to get to that point, but like it definitely can get there.
You know what visual I have? This is so funny. I've never told anyone this. The visual I have for my FI, specifically Demon Masculine FI, I don't know if you've ever watched Batman versus Superman at all.
I don't remember it, but I probably have, because the ENTP that I live with is like, I've watched so many like I know so much about comic book stuff.
Yeah.
My ENTP.
Yeah.
So, probably, but I can't remember.
So no worries. I mean, so here I'll explain the visual. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a point where they have to fight like this monster at the end.
Yeah.
And like the monster like charges up energy, and like it will release like an EMP burst out of its body like once in a while. Right. Cool. And like the more you stab it, the more you attack it, the more energy it charges up, and it retaliates with that. Right.
Dude, I love that. What is it? Is
that's
it
my
like
FI?
Yeah, and I can like that's so clear to me. It's like with the NE, it's just like like you just created the picture so great. That's amazing. And I especially like that you just said like the more they try to like hurt you, the more powerful it gets. Like that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my life. I don't know what else to tell you. That's my. I feel like that a lot.
Well, that's some really good. Well, I don't know. Is that FI? Like you just explaining that? Like that's so authentic. It's like you just explained your identity so clear, or your. I don't know if it's your identity, but that was so clear to me. Is that FI?
Yeah, it's in my SI box. It's just in my masculine SI box. I've just thought about like I cling on to that image a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah. We got to talk about the sleep last. Yeah, we got to do it.
Yeah.
What's it like for you?
What's it like for you? That's what it's like. It's like I dodge anything like going over not like known rather information. I try to dodge like I'm like, well, I don't know, because I won't fucking sit like and process it. No, but honestly, it is constantly running away from processing, I guess. Like the example that's coming to mind, which is so depressing because I'm always demon checking for the tribe. I'm like, am I really going to do this? But like, I've dealt with like a lot of death in my day, most recently my niece. And it's really hard for, like, I know through life experience that it's beneficial for me to go to therapy. So like I was in grief counseling for a while. Damn it, why am I doing this? But so like I stopped doing that. And then like the way I can deal with my grief is like going to volunteer to like help others. So like, and I like look back. And so it's like the times that I'm like doing volunteer work in my life is when I have experienced a significant death. And I'm like, oh, you fake bitch. Like, you're not a good person. You just are running away from your grief. So, yeah. I do anything I possibly can to not process and not slow down. And it's a lot of times it's like served me well, but like, I think I've had my first like life forcing you to slow down thing. Like there's obviously like experiences where I've experienced death of people close to me, but like, wait, let me not do this one. I'm gonna like stop that for now.
Yeah.
I was like, not ready to talk about this yet because I have not sleep processed it. But yeah, there's definitely like my first run in with like, girl, if you don't slow down and sleep process, like life is gonna slow you down. So
yeah. I'm sorry to hear about your niece, by the way. I'm really.
Thank you. It was really rough, man. It was rough, but I love to run from the grief of it, man. It's hard. It's like to be moved in that way. And this was like a huge thing to learn when I learned my type. I go, holy shit, this is like so, like this changed my world in such a good way because anytime something moves me, it's like it's like my feet get knocked. I mean, it's a fucking tidal wave, literally. Like, it's like, I can't change my mood. I can't be sad. I can't process because I will never recover. Mm-hmm. So it's like that. Sleep energy is like, you will never, like, you'll die. So that's how I experience it. But like, yeah. Anyway, thank you for saying that nice thing about my niece. But I like to run away from sleep processing.
Yeah. It's a fucking mood. I mean, I have it last as well. It's just.
Yeah, I was just gonna, but like, what's it like for you? For me, it's painful as hell.
I think it manifests as I have all of my friends are my therapists. I inevitably make all of my friends my therapists.
Yeah.
Right.
I can relate to that too. Just of like, I don't realize that I'm processing. I think that's in some of the OP videos, like in the class too, where you're just like sleep last people are like, they're processing while they're talking to somebody in like interviews, like celebrities on interviews on TV and stuff. They'll like be processing as they're talking. I'm like,
yeah,
I do that sometimes. Like when I just stopped myself before, I was like, oh, don't do that. Like, we're not doing this right now.
Yeah.
I could definitely relate.
So that, and then also like, I think there's a few things actually with my sleep last. I think one is I experience it as a fear or a guilt of stopping as well. It's not so much like the fear of the past, so much as like I feel like if I stop, I'm doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel that a lot. And like, and I can feel that even when I'm being super lazy. Like, for example, I was consuming the hell out of the new Justice League little clips on the YouTubes. Right. So it's like, it's not like I'm productive all day, but it's like, there's always this, Reggie, if you stop and like journal, like, why would you do that? Like, just go keep doing something else. Right. Yeah. And then I think finally, it manifests as an internal tug of war constantly.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, you're not settled internally because it's like, like sleep processing is about organizing the self, right? You're defragmenting so that you're a more linear human being from past to future. Yeah. And I'm not doing that. So I'm like this fragment, like, so almost like WandaVision of like the fragments when they start fragmenting out.
Yes.
That's me.
Yes. Man, I really understand what you're saying. Yeah. I can relate to all of that with the sleep last.
Yeah.
But I like what you just said about like the defragmenting thing, like, or that you feel like, yeah, like you're not a full person with that, because that's, yeah, you can feel that too. And in that way, I can see how there would be like a little bit of guilt in there over that. I experienced that too. That's cool. That's a cool way of putting it. Very clear. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like processing it, like as you said it too.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I've abused my friends to death over it, right? So it's like that's why therapist friends exist, Melanie.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, you could get a real therapist too. I know that was like a huge growth point for me, like at one point, but you know, it comes at like tidal waves too. Like I've hit some fucking, you know, I'm in my like later 30s now, and life kind of fucking knocks you on your ass. So like, because of times when I'm like, but I'm not the like my like DI world of like me first, like how did this happen? I know I'm speaking like super cryptically, but like life kind of knocked me on my ass, and then like therapy was so fucking helpful. Like, yeah. But yeah, I recommend therapy if you haven't done it. You know, if your friends are just like, Reggie, like, stop.
No, I think what I've decided while you were talking is there's one friend in particular who offered to be a therapist friend, and I was like, no, this is weird. I'm probably gonna make them my therapist friend.
Nice. I mean, if they're down, that's cool.
Because if I'm being, this is my little rant, TE rant. Most of these people are not qualified. You know how the job market is. You overhype yourself.
That's fair. That's fair. I don't. You know the song? Do you like The Weeknd? You know this is one of my favorite songs. The singer The Weeknd.
Yeah.
The song "Losers" is like my favorite.
I've not heard that.
What's that?
What album's that?
It's what's the one where it's in like all black and white, like the cover. I can see the cover of the album. God knows, like something about Beauty and the Madness, maybe, or something like that. Like, I can see the cover, but I can't think of the title of it. Yeah. It's called "Losers." If you are a fan of The Weeknd, and it's just like it goes down to my like, it's my TI shit and like my TINE of like, none of this is real anyway, so everyone's qualified. Like, yeah, it's so hard to explain my worldview. It's like so TI fucking like just down this hole, man. Like, but like when that's the TE word, unqualified. For me, I'm like, what the fuck is that even? Define your terms, but not even define your terms. Like, that's not real. Anyway, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop with my masculine TI as well. It's just like, this is the truth. I'm like, calm down.
Yeah. Anyway. That's so good. So let's do this. I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, just that song. Like, I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, yeah, that's how I feel when you say like unqualified. I'm like, but what is that? Like, anyway.
Yeah, I don't have the SI on it, so maybe I have to look it up after. I'll message you about it. So yeah, I think the last. So before we do Q&A, guys, I think what's fascinating to me is you are in a very like, how do I word this? Your type is not what I would expect in your industry, right? So you work in like acting, right? You work in the entertainment industry, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, at least my stereotypes were that's a very SF place,
right?
And I think even in our pre-episode calls, you were like, yeah, this is a very SF place as well. And it's like you as an NT, it's like the experience for you is quite different. So I kind of wanted you to talk a little bit about that. Like what that experience is like for you. Like
being an NT nerd.
Like that's the position. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, definitely like personality type, this like, I guess hobby, I guess you could call it, me like talking about personality type and being obsessed with it, TI, just obsessed with consuming it, especially like objective personality, is like a way of coping with the SF of it. Like, first of all, like one thing that I was telling you before this call, you were just like, what are you flexing on me like with your hair? Like, because I don't ever do like curls in my hair, but like I just got SF new headshots for like a performer because I have pink hair, so I needed like new shots to reflect that. And the like stylist or whatever curled my hair. Like I have curly hair naturally, but I was like, I'm like 30x years old, as I like to say, and I'm like, should I have been doing this the whole fucking time? Like it never occurred to me. Like I have, but like it's funny because like that's not the full truth, because like when I was 22 or something, like I probably was like doing a little bit of that, but just like that just happened naturally, and I did it a little bit, and now I'm like, oh, like as far as like auditioning and being like putting myself on film, should I have been like concerned with my hair like ever? Like just like the like most basic things like never fucking occurred to me until like now, like when I'm like up there like in years, which, you know, like it is a very SF field. So there's that like just random example, but like also I tend to feel like an outsider a lot. And so like this stuff is a relief from that. Like it was, you tend to learn that like people present themselves one way. It's not always, there's a lot of good people in the acting industry or whatever, in the film world, but when people aren't who you think they are, this is such an IP fucking decider problem. Like people hurt me. Like you're probably just like, all right, like people are like, yeah, people are crazy, whatever. Like, but when people weren't who I thought they were, it was like just such a huge blow to me. So like turning to personality typing and stuff and like having something to like take me away from that world and like NT obsess over and like pick apart was super good for me to stay balanced when it comes to like putting myself on camera, getting rejected, like auditioning, all that shit. But that's like my main experience of it is like, I felt like oblivious to like some SF details that I probably should have picked up earlier.
Yeah.
And that it's really good to have something that you can NT while you're involved in this SF world to stay balanced and not like lose, especially if you're an IP or a decider and just like people just fucking kill you, like to just not lose your mind. Like, so yeah, that's what's coming to mind.
So you mentioned like the NT is a way to escape the SF, but I mean, like how then have you been able to do your job for so long? I know, for instance, you mentioned on the Dave episode, like you have a TI way of going about acting, right?
Yeah.
Or the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
So it's like what does that mean, and how was that TI standing against the SF that you're surrounded by, you know?
So it's like as far as like I want to be an actress and be on TV. So I NT'd it by being like, well, I'm just going to dive in and figure this out, because like in the Dave episode, like I quoted the what's his name? Love Who's channel, and he made this like his just this shining example of explaining an INTP where he's just like an INTP wants to learn the piano. They're not going to like take lessons and like learn how to do it step by step. They're going to be like, fuck that, that's boring. Like, and then they're just going to fucking do it. Like teach themselves. Like they're just gonna be like, this sounds good. Like, that's how I did it. Like I just was on every single set in whatever capacity. I like on my Daisy and INTP channel, like I have some examples of the work that I've like produced, and I didn't even like, I don't have any qualification. There's no TE qualifications. And I just like, I'm like, oh, I just produced this. And like, now I'm pitching it to literally like fucking whatever corporations. I'm like, what the fuck did I just figure, like, that's an INTP to me. That's me NT. Like, I'm like, oh, you just do this. This is what you do. And so like my proudest moment was when I learned to act, where I was just like, oh, I feel proud and that I can call myself an actress and not sound like I'm full of shit. And that was like, I NT figured out how to do it step by step, but like, and then I like SI, like whatever. I feel like I just finished saying like, I'm not going to do it step by step, but like I intuitively just fucking like did it. And then like backwards picked up the sensory of how to do it.
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy, but like now I have a system of how I prepare every character, and I'm like, damn, she shows up the character shows up every time. Like, and I don't know. That's what I'm thinking of, but like I NT just fucking, now I have an SI system for putting together a character. And that's when it's the least painful to ST sleep, is when it has to do with like my like goal or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like I like run out of steam for that question because I'm like, I feel like I'm not making sense because it's hard to explain. Like, it's like, I like cast out a goal, like a fucking fishing line, and then like, I don't even know if fishing line works, but like as a analogy, but then like, I just like collected what I needed to know after the fact. It's literally, it's just like a Weekend song I was just talking about. Like, well, like there's a line in it where they're like, what can you show me that my heart doesn't know already? And like, I'm sorry, I'm literally like, I feel like gross because I'm making myself blush from saying such a cheesy thing, but like that line, that's why I love that song so much. It's just like, yeah, you intuitively like get it, you can see it or whatever, and then you just become it. Like, this motion seems to be like what it is. Just figure it out.
So I think this is important. I mean, this is exactly what this whole notion of like objective goals, like that's the whole hero's journey, at least in OP. It's like you set a goal and all of your development happens on the way to the goal.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, no one's ever been able to say that as succinctly or whatever the word is that you just said it. Yes.
Yeah. So my question to you is, how did you create a goal that strong that you've been holding on to it for, I don't even know how long you've, like, for years, decades almost?
Oh yeah. I think it's like, I just always wanted to do it when I was a kid, and just like always was a little space cadet, and just like was the same as far as just like, is this real, man? Like, and like, I just always just did it. Like as a kid, I would like read books, do these book reports, and then go to different classrooms and like dress up as like the character and like read book reports to the kids. Like it was a program called Delta, which I don't even fucking know. Like they like took me out of class to do it. I just was it. Like I was just like, this is me. And then like I started dedicating everything in my life to it. So that's why another reason why like OP and me being obsessed with personality typing, but especially OP, because like for me, it's like I put my eggs in one basket of this goal. So my bullshit would come up. People hurt me, all this stuff. Like I can't stop because I'm so deep in. Now another analogy that I use with the Dave talk is like, I'm all like halfway up this mountain. I'm up, like I got nothing else. Like if I fucking give up now, I'm going to like fall into the abyss. So I need all the tools I can to use my entire brain and visit my demons to fucking get where I set, because it's all blackness behind me. It's a black hole, you know, now I'm in space, even though I was just saying a mountain, but like, I'm like all the fucking way up. I gave everything I got. My little rope is raggedy behind me. I'm gonna like, that's it. Like I have no choice but to go up. I know this sounds so like, I feel like this sounds so flowery, but like,
yeah, if
you don't use your demons, you are gonna fall in the abyss. Like it's just all I've ever wanted. I don't know. I gotta sleep process that. Like I don't know how I was able to just be like, no, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah,
everything in my life has been made to accommodate.
I think I cut you off. What'd you say?
No, just like everything in my life has been a conscious decision to accommodate that. Like I'm not stopping until I get where I'm going. Like,
gotcha. It's hard, right? Like, so for me, like, I guess this is my TE. It's like I'm just so hyper aware. Like, it's very common for IPs in the system to do that, where they're like, "Oh, I knew since I was 8 that I wanted to be like a businessman." In the case of what was his name, Michael Dubin or whatever. Like, it's like they just know. It's so strange to me.
I don't know. I guess it's TI or something. Like, it's just like, there's never a question. And then I like went to like when I met opposition in life, or like any issues where I'm like, no, I can't do this, or like I got to move back to like, you know, upstate New York where my family is and be a kindergarten teacher. I got to be more realistic or whatever, like doubts. I'm like, no, I need to literally take all my tools and figure out how to do what I said, like go to therapy, deal with your issues. Like, I don't know what that is, but I never thought of it that way of just like, I forgot that IPs kind of do that. Like, we're like, no, this is what the fuck we're doing. Like,
yeah, it's fascinating because it's like, and I actually just listened to a Q&A of Dave and Shan recently where they like said like most upper management or like leadership roles are filled by IPs. Like, and that surprised me, right? But I think part of it is that unwavering, like, no, I'm gonna do this. It's like, how are you gonna stop someone who just says that and does that?
There's something internal for sure. I guess I would have to like spend time in like NT and be like, what is that? Like that weird drive, but it's just like no, I'm gonna do what I said I'm gonna do. Like it's just simple, but like there's also, it's kind of interesting when you're talking about it from that perspective, just like, what the fuck am I doing? That's pretty intense.
Yeah. So, and I don't relate to that. Like I like, this is gonna sound really sad, but like what the dreams I had at childhood, I abandoned. Right? Like I didn't like, the first dream I had was to be a pianist, actually.
Cool. But like maybe you TE, like, I don't know.
I absolutely talked myself out of it. My mom was like, or my parents, like, this is TE, so it's not like it's real, but it's like my TE picked up on, oh, it's not practical. Literally, it's like, oh, where's the money gonna come from? Oh, you know, who's gonna accept a musician? It's not a high enough status these days unless you're really, really good, and so on and so forth. So it's like I basically like talked myself out of what I wanted to do. And like I do that with a lot of the things I quote unquote want to do. It's like I'll do it and then like I'll be so aware of what other people like think about it. I will absolutely like lose my conviction over it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, will absolutely make sense. That's like, I mean, it sounds like that's your saviors, like your brain just naturally doing what it does, which is great. It's what makes everybody themselves. But like, if you know, it's everybody has their own identity, like your FI identity, like you figure out if you still want to do that or whatever else you want to do, and then like, I don't know, I feel like that comes like when, because like as far as like all the things you said, the reasons were really valid. Just like, you know, like, am I going to make money? Are people going to like want to have me as a partner? Like all that because I'm like unstable or whatever. Like all of that is so true. But it's just like, for me, I was just like, I will fucking find the ways to make all those valid points like come together. So it's like, now I work in the film industry and like continue, like, it's just like with the goal in mind, it's just like, I'll make all those very valid reasons that you said come together. And that's where my masculine energy really helps me, because I like intuitively will like figure out the pattern of, or like the NT, like we're gonna figure out how to make this. You know, people think I'm a fucking like, oh, I'm however old and I'm not married, don't have kids. Like, what a fucking loser. Like, not really, but I don't care. It's not my values. But a lot of people would, are just like, oh, really? Are you ever gonna like fucking give up? You've been doing it for 20 years. Like,
Right.
I haven't seen you on TV. Like, of course that, like, you know, you're just like, fuck, man, the pressure. But like, you find ways to deal with it, like therapy, extra income, all the ways. Like for me, it's like, well, I'm gonna fucking figure it out. I'm gonna do my demons. But like, you know, if you, it's hard when your identity is a demon state. So it's you to do that, and that's when you do, like, that's great. But it's not, doesn't come naturally to you.
Well, it's what I'm hearing and what I'm learning is that it's literally you just refuse to move on it.
It's masculine, right? I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like you said, no, I'm doing, like, because like for me, I'm so embarrassed of like sticking like my feet in the stand or the ground that hard. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like I am afraid of like just saying, no, I'm doing this, you move, right? But like that's exactly what I'm hearing, right? So it's like you said, it's like, oh, go ahead.
No, I guess the only, like, it doesn't, I suppose it doesn't always have to be, I wonder if it's because I'm feminine tribe. It doesn't have to be you move, whereas your feeling is masculine. So perhaps, I'm trying to like NT figure out like what it has to do with the modalities, but like it doesn't have to be like you move. It's like I'll find, it's like I can move with the tribe and like find a way to make this work with my mad scientist TI vision or whatever, like, or TINE vision. Like I'll like, like flow around the tribe and like fucking we'll figure this out. Whereas you said, no, you move. But like that's, it's not that people necessarily, I mean, I guess I just don't see it that way. It's like self-reporting. I don't see it as you move, but maybe it is. Like
it's not so it sounds as super aggressive probably because it's a demon for me, but it's not like I'm fighting people. It's more like I'm not dropping this. So maybe that's the more accurate way. Like that's what I'm learning while I'm talking with you. It's like you can choose what you want and just stick with it. And like even if you're getting feedback, you're like, oh well, if it takes 20 years, it takes 20 years. You know?
Yeah, there was definitely like a conscious I mean, of course I was like tortured with like, should I keep doing this? Blah blah blah, like all that. And then like a lot of fucking therapy like helped me for sure, like getting the tools of my demons, because like my floppy freaking feminine FE and like always like with the tribe, are they looking at me, like are they like whatever, like it's just like finding the tools to like make that sticky. It's like I finally decided, I was like, I'm in this for the fucking long haul. So at one point it was a conscious decision, and then just building around that. So, but like, yeah, it's my identity is my lead, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I'm this, I shall proceed from there. Whereas, yeah, for you to like go hard like that, like you feel like, just like I feel with feminine, like I feel like my feet are going above my head when I'm like my passion or whatever. It sounds like you let a fucking monster out when, or what it feels like. You let a monster out when you like are like, no, I'm standing in my identity. Where it feels that way, but it's not necessarily that way all the time. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that your feeling would feel a little like it's like not frightening. I don't know. Maybe it's frightening. Maybe it's not. Like would feel a little crazy to be like, I'm standing my ground in this. Especially, I'm trying to think masculine feeling, how that would go. But masculine identity is, it can be, forceful, but it doesn't always have to be, I guess, you know?
Yeah. Okay, really cool. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to transition over to Q&A. Okay, cool. Guys. Michelle, what the fuck? I'm thinking Michelle because I'm looking at Michelle's name right here.
Yeah.
What's good? Yeah, you get it
right. You had a call with her the other day.
Yeah. She I think it was cool. last week. Yeah, it was pretty fun. So we're gonna do Q&A. There's quite a few questions. So guys, if you have any further questions, feel free. But let's just kind of knock these out real quick. So,
wow, look at all these comments. Sorry, we haven't been looking at these. You know how Reggie show goes.
Yeah, I gotta block it out. Okay, here's one. Cassidy. Hi, Cassidy.
Hi, Cassidy.
Thank you for that. The pretty person ever.
Thank you. I just literally today figured out how to fucking curl my hair. So thank you.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you.
She became the prettiest person in one day. That's a TI accomplishment if I've heard one.
I was a frog yesterday and now I'm a princess.
There you go. All right. So the question is, what is your relationship with the tribe having them double activated yet at the absolute bottom of your stack? Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. The glass lizard, like double activated demon FE. It's like a constant awareness of the tribe, like looking at me, and like in like a shitty way. It's like I can never give them what they want from me. Like it's like poking a little pin in a balloon and the air slowly being let out. It's like a drain, kind of. Just like I can't be who they want me to be, especially like at networking events, or whatever networking events. Like I'm just like, I can't be this like freaking peppy person, or just like super positive and like saying all the right things or the tribe valued things, but in a positive way. Always being hyper aware of what people want helps me keep a job. Like it helps me be proactive at work. Like I work freelance film. So, or even like I work cocktail waitress too sometimes. Like I do all kinds of freelance skip jobs. So being aware of what the other needs at all times, like I can really use that to my advantage. Like it sounds so manipulative, but like I can be proactive at work when I'm like always like checking for the vibe in like a neurotic way. So it helps at work in a good way. And then on the other side, it's like, I can't give you what you want. So it's draining.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that answers the question.
Okay, good. I have no comment, Cassidy. I don't know what that's like. I would not. Cassidy's a cool person, by the way. I like her.
Yeah.
All right. Otim. What's good,
Hi.
Otim?
Let's see. Oh, looking so cool in your avatar.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Got the cat. Love it.
There you go. So how do we feel about each other's type of any? I think, yeah.
I think yours is very like, it reminds me of like like this kind of movement. Like it's like very it reminds me almost of like SI in a way. Like it's like clearer than mine from what you explained. So I feel as though yours could come off as more SF than mine. If that makes sense. Like it seems like it like you, well, it's not that you're checking for the tribe, you're checking for the tribe's reasons, but it seems like a strength of yours that I would not be able to match up to, of like being aware of the tribe's things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you could be like, you could be an influencer or like that type of job, whereas I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I get inward when it comes to the tribe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of. So your masculine any, it's funny because it's like it doesn't feel masculine to me. Like if I were to be the one making the words, it's not like it's not like your intuition's forced on me. I never feel that way. It just feels intense, like in the sense of it's like you're clearly, like I said, it's like you're leaning into it. I'm like, I'll run with it, but like I'm very happy also not running with it. Like that's how I feel. I'm like, all right, I guess we're going here,
Yeah.
So it's like it's guiding the conversation. Your masculine any tends to guide the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, I've heard like a few times the people are like, "Oh, you're alpha," and I'm like, "What?" I feel like the most feminine person ever because I'm so like giggly and like what, but like outer space, and I like pink. But yeah, it's interesting to hear you say that because people are just like, "Oh, you think you're like so alpha?" I'm like, "Oh, okay, I see that."
Yeah, well, kind of. I mean, isn't it? But
you didn't say it in an insulting way, but like I have on my channel, I've had comments where like people have used it in an insulting way. Like,
I mean, this brings up a good point though, because your saviors are double masculine, actually.
Yeah, but that's also something they say in the class too. It's like, like I have my double masculine saviors, and then like I am double feminine. But like so, like like just as a person, I'm like, but I'm a lady. Like I feel like feminine,
Yeah.
But I can be forceful as hell, like yelling at people on the train and all this,
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Okay, cool. All right. So next question, if there is any, let me scroll down. There's a question that I don't have the context for, unfortunately.
Yeah. Thank you for the comments, Prem.
Yeah. Man, some of these questions I don't have the context. So here's one from Tanya. Babilini.
Babilni. Did I say it right?
Yeah, you probably said it right. I'm 100% butchering it.
Italian accent though. Even though, yeah, I wonder what kind of last name is that? It's interesting.
Babilini. Yes. So I'm interested in how you relate to yourself being an introvert versus an extrovert. Do you more often feel the need to socialize or spend time alone? Would you have answered this differently as a child?
What do you say, Reggie?
Girl, this is your show.
It's like the question is automatically for me.
Yes.
I'm sorry, my feminine sensory sucks. You're just like, okay, now it's time for this. I'm like, oh shit, am I doing it right? Okay. Even like when I watch, because I like watch your episodes too, and I'm like, oh, pressure. Okay. I definitely relate to being an introvert. I'd say be in the way that like I could probably be inside for fucking days at a time, like if I didn't check myself. looking up fucking toilets, for example, or whatever the hell I'm consuming. Like whatever I do this with, like, it's not just toilets. That just happened to be the latest thing. Like I can look up food, anything, whatever it is that I'm like, so I could be inside for days at a time. But then I like, I think I'm kind of thankful for the double activated FB because it's like a little alarm that goes off. It's like, okay, you're becoming a recluse, like fucking calm down. So I prefer to spend time alone. I think I like being in my little world, my thoughts that are clear and rational. But I do like being social, but like it doesn't come as naturally as like, oh, it's been 5 days and I haven't seen another person.
Yeah.
So I gotta watch myself for that.
Yeah.
Would I answer this differently as a child? I think I was also like a weird little space cadet who used to read all the time, so probably was pretty similar. But like each time, like now and then, I was pretty active with my friends and family and like being social as well. So I can see both sides, but the tendency is more towards introverting. That's like saying adult, which is obnoxious, but being an introvert.
Yeah. So what I'll say in passing, I thought I was an introvert growing up, actually, because I definitely relate to that. I was inside it most of the day.
Yeah.
Like I was in my own world most of the day. Like it's like I had my own like I played pretend a lot. Like I had like my capes, my little blanket capes, and my little action figures and my anime on the side and my video games. It's like I could spend all day indoors. And it's like when people would try and ask me to come outside and play football or whatever, I was like, no, But yeah, so it's funny that we both did that given just how extroverted our OP types are.
I'm trying to think like the similar functions or like, the code, how that plays out. Like,
well, no. So I think the simplest explanation is that people see themselves upside down. So it's like we probably were just as extroverted when we were young.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're growing up, you're just like, well, no, I'm inside all day. But it's like, just think about, like, for me, it's like if I were to take a step back and let's say I were my parent and I had to raise baby like 10-year-old Reg, it's like, yo, where is this kid? Like it's like, even if he's by himself, it's like he's all over the place. It's like, where are my blankets? Like, where are my fucking, like,
Yeah, it is funny. Wait, your saviors, your, what do you say? Your FM, right? No, MF.
I'm audio.
Yeah, I'm just now, like, it's just NT, the NT. I'm like, what is it? Because like we do see ourselves that way, but is it because like my I'm double feminine, so it's funny that I see myself as like a delicate lady, and like you thought that you were introverted too, but like, I mean, just speaking with you, you don't come off introverted as well, and you're double extroverted. So
yeah,
I'm wondering how like that came to be. It's so interesting.
Well, we're gonna channel change, unfortunately. So
we're good at that. Skib life.
Yeah. What sort of? Oh, he's speaking my language now. What sort of things make you feel ragey when done to you, or when what that you encounter?
Go, Reggie. My fucking FE. Like when it comes to feelings, I just am like, no, you talk about yours.
Yeah, I get rage. Oh my god! First of all, I was about to do something really sketchy. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna control myself.
I want you to
all I'll say is I do not appreciate being disrespected, especially in a context where it was unexpected. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay. I do not like people just coming out of the blue and being disrespectful. I don't care what our prior relationship was. I do not like, it's like, if you cross a certain boundary with me of like common decency or whatever, it's like, yo, I don't want to end you. That's the energy that goes through my body. It's like, I just don't want to end you, I think in addition to that, definitely SI related stuff triggers me, like especially at work, because I work in sales. So sometimes I have to like do paperwork, and let's say admin comes back and they're like, Reggie, you need to change this letter to that letter. I'm like, are you fucking serious? That's where I will start raging.
Yeah.
It's like, why couldn't you do that yourself? you know, stuff like that. So, and then I think in addition to that, like sometimes I just get ragey like randomly. Well, probably for me, it's probably FI stacking. So it's like maybe some stuff led up to it that I'm not aware of.
Yeah, I
But
guess
it feels random. Yeah.
Yeah, like in my mind, I just like it immediately picked out when you said out of the blue. I'm like, define out of the blue. Like when you just said that, you're like, maybe there's some FI stacking going on. That's like, yeah, because I'm just like, I want to break it down to like, because I was like, there's a solution here. Out of the blue is where the answer is. My intuition is just like, it wasn't out of the blue. Let's pick apart this. Like I'm gonna be your therapist friend. I'm like, we're gonna pull that apart because I saw that. Like that's not. Maybe it wasn't out of the blue, or like maybe it was.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a good grasp on how your masculine FI like feels. Like you just were super clear on that. So that's interesting. I'm just buying time because I made a video about this recently too, of just like, sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I feel. I don't know, which is funny. Like, again, like choosing acting as a profession, but I realize how fucked up it is for me to get my state changed. So, it's like a separation from like what makes me feel ragey. Other things make you feel ragey when done to you. You encounter. I guess. Fuck. Can I pass on this? It's like separated from me. Like this is something that I would just have to like. I don't know, like journal, like a sleep process, because I feel like I separate myself from it. As far as just like we're gonna move on from here. I don't know. Yeah. And there's also like a lot, but also my like demon FE. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't expose myself in this way. So yeah. I think I'm gonna pass on that because I don't have access to the answer.
No problem. So I'm just giving you a heads up, and I'm giving the audience a heads up. We're gonna ask questions for another 15 minutes or so, and then I'm gonna start wrapping up. Okay. So next is Julia. Hi.
Hey, Julia.
Hi. All right. So this is for you for fucking sure. How do you feel about having double masculine saviors and double feminine demons?
It makes sense. That's for sure. Well, again, it's like I don't know how I necessarily feel about it, except for I definitely can see it being real. Like double masculine saviors. Actually, yeah, I do know how I feel. Like I love my masculine any. I know I just lean on it for everything, and sometimes like I need to come back down to earth. So excuse me. Like I love my masculine any. And the masculine TI was hard for me to accept because I fancy myself a feminine woman. So to be like your lead, like masculine TI, your forceful, punchy, like identity thing, like it was hard for me to accept. I didn't necessarily like it, but now like I'm just like, oh, I like this kind of, because it helps me to like have faith in myself, I suppose. But yeah, so the double masculine any was fun because it seemed to match my identity, and the masculine rather TI was hard to accept. Feminine demons, they definitely like, I'm just like, yeah, that shit is true. Like feminine sensory is just as annoying. It's like the opposite of masculine any, just because I see it come up everywhere. Like just simple questions, I'm like, I fucking blanked on the answer. My sister's like name, not really, that's just like exaggerating, but like just simple basic shit. I'm like, I don't know the answer. So it's true and annoying. The feminine, yeah, it's like being a baby giraffe. My feminine demons, just like wobbly. I can't like, yeah, it's like trying to like get up and you keep slipping. It's like you're like covered in butter. Like you're just like, I can't get it. Like just slippery feminine demons. And it like, I feel empowered to know what they are, because I'm like, okay, baby, you're a fucking baby giraffe when it comes to like SF in this very SF world that I live. So I try to be compassionate with myself, I suppose.
Yeah. That's so funny. Okay. All right, really good. And then I think Prem just said he got his question answered. I think. Okay, really good. So then I'm gonna skip your stuff, Prem. You shouldn't have said that. Now,
Prem, love you.
Alexa.
I feel like I always understand what Prem's talking about, just like in the Facebook group and stuff, and like on his videos and everything, just because we're both like in the NETI world. So
yeah,
shout out to Prem.
Yeah, that's good. So good transition, actually. So what is your TI constantly trying to understand or solve?
I think many different things. Like, I guess like what is life? Like it's just like constant like. Yeah, like what is life basically is a big one of just like all we know is we're born and we die. And everything else is up for like what the fuck is happening. Somebody in my building is exercising upstairs. Can you hear that?
No.
Freaking New York. Yeah, so if you hear like a banging, someone's jumping or something. Anyway, I think like I'm trying to understand like what the fuck, what is this? What are we? I guess that's like the big picture. And then also like how to meet my current goals, how to deal with housing for like a family member, we'll say. And that's like, it has something to do with bringing it back to the freaking toilets thing I was talking about. Just like a lot of different things at a lot of different times. But like in general, the big picture, simple answer would be like, what the fuck is life? Like, that's it. Wow. Like, yeah, like what is everything?
Yeah, I don't relate. My FI just is like, look, as long as I'm vibing, we good, you know.
That's cool. So interesting. Like the different people are just like doing the different thing. Like their life is something different. That's so fucking cool. But that's like I'm taking in that pattern, and then just like how does this like what is playing out? Like I don't know if I believe if anything is playing out, but I just like but just what is it? What is it? What like how is Reggie concerned with this? I'm concerned with this. Like it's so fucking like something's happening. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Look, I'm the type of person, my TE outsources that. It's like, look, you can be my Jordan Peterson or whatever. Once you figure out the answer, tell me and I'll steal it. That's how
it's fucking cool. Yeah. Like, you're not as because you're more balanced with that, where I'm like, I need to know what is happening.
I mean, have you come across any like meaningful answers to that? Like meaning of life type stuff?
There's a lot of different aspects to this question. It's so hard to try to explain your own personal TI. I wonder if are there any other Savior TIs in here who can like relate to like we have our own very deep like you were saying Gray's like the very intricate igloo.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a simple answer because there's so many little pieces to it. It's like I do like do you know the Red Book by the Carl Jung book? Like I'm obsessed with that book. Even not even having read the whole thing because fuck if you can like read that whole thing. But like just like that, all the imagery in there is just like, yep, that's what it is. And so it's like you can't even put words to it. That's another thing I was talking with Dave. It was funny to talk to Dave because like he said that he's like, I guess like doubt. It's just like talking about the moon is not the moon type of thing. It's like talking about it is not the thing. So it's really hard to put words to the meaning I found. It seems like such a simple question, but it's just very complex.
Yeah. I mean, look, I experienced something similar with my FI, and I think some people will relate to that when it comes to FI. It's like it's not like I can say a word and it's just like, oh, you got it. It's so intricate what I'm trying to convey. So yeah, I can relate to that in a way. You know?
Yeah, it's like there's no like for you, there's no. It's like it doesn't have to be a reason. It's like hard. You can't express it. But like for me, it's just like this fucking weird thing that's like building. And it's like, I don't know if this is going to like, if I can relay this to you right now. But like, I guess simple answer would be like love and happiness. Like, but see, it kind of cheapens it. Like it doesn't really.
Right. Because I don't know what you mean by those terms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I've learned the hard way from Jordan Peterson. It's like if you say a sentence, you have to ask him, what do you mean by every single fucking thing in the sentence? Because otherwise you miss it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because I know there's more to it, but like one thing that brings me meaning is like my relationship, my like primary relationship in life. That's a big thing, a big driver of like what I do, choices I make every day. Another like TI trying to understand and solve thing, like love. What the fuck? What is that? What is that? Yeah, but like love is a meaningful thing in my primary relationship that I've been in for over a decade at this point. So
Wow,
that's a thing that gives me meaning.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, I think we have time for maybe one or two more questions. Probably one, honestly. Let me see.
Yeah,
Melanie.
so good.
Back, or he or they. What about inner monologue? What exactly do you experience, see, hear, feel inside of your head throughout the day? And apparently I'm allowed to answer this as well.
Perfect. I like that clear communication too. Because that was like, I did this or...
Yeah, it's your turn. You got to go first.
Oh, shit. Inner monologue. What exactly do you experience, see, hear, feel inside your head throughout the day? Okay, this is tough for me to answer. Man, going back to like known information, shit. And then the word exactly is so triggering for a fucking masculine any. Like, don't you control me, bro. Fuck, I'm trying to buy some time, Reggie. Do you have an answer for that one?
All right, fine. So I don't experience much inner monologue. Let's start with that. And whenever I do experience anything in my head, it's very faint. It's almost like it's like ghosts. I don't know how else to word that. It's like it's very faint. I have a very faint visual. I have a very faint audio in my head. It's so usually I actually don't experience much in my head, so to speak. So I would say for all practical purposes, I have little to none inner monologue. So what I'm experiencing throughout the day is emotions, right? I'm going throughout the day and I'm like, it's not visual, but it's as if it's like clouds of emotions or sharpness of emotions. And it's like ebbing and flowing or sharpening or expanding throughout the day. Right. So take, for example, when I'm at work, it's like, I fucking don't like work. So it's like, there will be times at work where it's like, I will feel the weight of me being there. Right. And it's like, I just don't want to be there. Like, and it's just like this, so it's like every action is like, I'm like pulling against it's like I'm pulling like an airplane almost. Like it's that heavy. It's like I'm trying to pull myself with this weight throughout the day.
Atlas, the one who like has the weight of the world on his shoulders, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that's how I feel at work when I feel with people. Like, and I'll give you a good contrast. Let's say right now I'm experiencing like there's a little bit of fogginess because I'm probably getting a bit tired because I usually end at around an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm feeling like this cloud. This is not visual. It's just like a cloud of emotion, as if. And it's like, I'm like throughout the day, throughout my life, I'm wading through that. And it's like, I somehow need to either shape the emotion to what I want it to be, or I need to find the emotion that I want. It's kind of, I don't know how to explain that. Sight is just normal. I don't know. I hope I have good eyesight, and I think that should answer it.
Yeah, that was super clear. I'm like jealous of how easily accessible that was to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I fuck, this is gonna be like the second question that I'm like past because it's hard for me to know what happens there. It's the sleep last, man, inner monologue. It's and also the masculine any. It's like outward, like just
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know how to answer.
Let me ask you this, Melanie. When we were talking about WandaVision, right? Yeah. What was going on in your mind when we were having that conversation?
That it's like good chemicals. It's just like expansive. So yeah, I guess like in my head throughout the day is often thank you for clarifying. You're really good at, like, for me, like, I don't know, I wonder what it is about our functions, but for you to be like, let me sensory clarify this for you, doll. Like, I'm just like, okay, I think I'm coming back down to earth. I appreciate that. Expansive, just like outwardness. I experience, just like a searching, I suppose. And maybe that's why I don't know what my inner monologue necessarily is, because it's so based on the patterns that I see. It's like, it's just like a lot of intuition at all time, meaning connecting patterns and like not necessarily knowing the sensory of what they mean, but like knowing that they connect in some way. So it's, and then it like builds and builds and builds. So just, I experience expanding, if that makes sense. I guess I don't necessarily see the physical exactly. I often see like what it could be, like rapidly. Like I was saying to Reggie, it's just like, I could have met you at a bar. We could, and it's based on like reality in some way, but like, we could be coworkers, like you would like, and then the offset of that becomes like something else. We could be coworkers that don't get along. We could be coworkers that do get along. We could work at a restaurant. We could work at an office. We could work like, it just starts like, just all of expanding. When I start like creating more possibilities. So I see the sensory, but I start opening into more expanding. I hear, it does the same. Everything expands. Feelings, I can make things like a glance. Feelings are good. Chemicals are great, especially as an actress. Like, and I love things that happen between two people. So like a glance, like, can become like a bigger feeling. You can create a whole world out of a feeling. So everything is expanding. Tanya.
Yeah. There you go. Babalini.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you so much, Melanie. So here's what we're going to do. Melanie, first of all, don't ghost me, okay? I need you to stay on just after so we can kind of
clear.
Do some episode. Yeah.
I love that.
But for the rest of you guys know what time it is. It's my little blast time, okay? First of all, I'm going to keep it super simple, okay? Because I'm tired. Join Snug, okay?
Yeah,
sponsored by Lydro. What the hell?
Yeah, smart lady. I just love that she built that. That's so cool.
Join Snug if you're a content creator. It's free. If you like I like the merch. So if you like merch, go to the store and buy some of the, I think it's like t-shirts, hoodies. I like them. Okay, go support Lindsay, please. Next, guys. I'm not as hype as I normally am, so I'm not gonna yell in Melanie's face right now, but come catch these hands in Smash Bros. All right. My friend code is in my description. My about page. I apologize. Guys, shirtless Sephiroth needs something to do on the weekends. Okay? Come get your booty whooped, metaphorically. All right. We're also having a tournament actually on Saturday, so I might stream that. So be on the lookout for that. I actually might stream a tournament with some friends. So be on the lookout to see if I'm full of shit or not. Okay. Finally, okay, guys. You know what? First of all, subscribe to Melanie's channel. Okay. Subscribe to Melanie's channel. All
Please
right.
like me.
Yeah, like Melanie. She's an IP. She needs love too. Okay. And she's probably going to be super famous in like 5 years. That's my intuitive guess. So be friends with her while you can. Guys, I know how celebrity works. You're not going to be able to talk to her after this unless you have Snug. Okay. So that's how.
You got to pay me via Lijo, another smart NT. It's assuming we're all smart.
There you go. So feel free to subscribe to her stuff. And then if you subscribe to me, I'm not going to know about it because I don't track my subscribers. That's for you to get notifications. That's for you to get updates on when I post my clips, and so on. So feel free to do that. If you did like it, feel free to leave a like. And then if you have like any further questions or comments, I do read all my comments and, I know where Melanie's at. And so maybe she'll be able to answer a few. So that's about it. Melanie, please stay on. But everyone else, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your participation. It was good seeing some of you guys, especially. It's been a while. So thank you so much. Really appreciate all of you. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm just reading the comments now. So sorry if I you guys wrote stuff and we didn't see it.
Yeah. So, but we do appreciate it. We're probably going to read it after. So we'll see you on the next one. Take care.